Hello everyone. So in today's video, we are going to go over this paper titled Reformulating Unsupervised Style Transfer as Paraphrase Generation. So this paper is from 2020 and it was published in EMNLP, I guess. Right. So this paper is by Kalpesh Krishna, John Vieting, and Mohit Iyer, and you have the project page as well. So uh, yep, it's in EMNLP 2020, and they've really given a lot of demos. The code is out there as well. They also have a talk on the paper, so you can see them explain their paper as well. So I'll link this down below, so you can go and check this out. So without further ado, I'll get right into it. So the abstract. Modern NLP defines the task of style transfer as modifying the style of a given sentence without appreciably changing its semantics, which implies that the outputs of style transfer systems should be paraphrases of their inputs. This makes sense. However, many existing systems purportedly designed for style transfer inherently warp the input's meaning through attribute transfer, which changes semantic properties such as sentiment. In this paper, we reformulate the unsupervised style transfer as a paraphrase generation problem and present a simple methodology based on fine-tuning pre-trained language models on automatically generated paraphrase data. Despite its simplicity, our method significantly outperforms state-of-the-art style transfer systems on both human and automatic evaluations. We also survey 23 style transfer papers and discover that existing automatic metrics can be easily gamed and propose fixed variants. Finally, we pivot to a more real-world style transfer setting by collecting a large dataset of 15 million sentences in 11 diverse styles, which we use for an in-depth analysis of our system. All right. So if you're familiar with style transfer papers or you've seen some of my videos, then I guess this is pretty clear to you. This part about uh, the metal scheme being gamified, they discuss it in their video as well. We'll discuss it when we reach there, and they've also connected this in huge data set. So the introduction. The task of style transfer on text data involves changing the style of a given sentence while preserving its semantics. So we use a quasi-paraphrase definition of semantic equivalence from Bhagat and Hovey 2013. Throughout this paper, we loosely define style as patterns in lexical and syntactic choices within the space of quasi-paraphrases. Right. So recent works in this area conflate style transfer with the related task of attribute transfer, in which modifications to attribute specific content words warp both stylistic and semantic properties of a sentence. Attribute transfer has been criticized for its limited real-world application. So Pang 2019 argue that semantic preservation is critical for author obfuscation, data augmentation, text simplification, writing assistance. Moreover, semantic preservation has several applications like better translation evaluation and adversarial defenses. So we propose to improve semantic preservation and style transfer by modeling the task as a controlled paraphrase generation problem. Our unsupervised method, style transfer via paraphrasing or STRAP, requires no parallel data between different styles and proceeds in three simple stages. First, creates pseudo-parallel data by feeding sentences from different styles through a diverse paraphrase model. Second, train style-specific inverse paraphrase models that converts these paraphrased sentences back to into their original stylized sentences. And third, use the inverse paraphraser for a desired style to perform style transfer. So figure 1 left and figure 1 right. Right. So this is the training time in which suppose you have this Shakespeare English sentence, why uncle tis a shame. It's passed through a diverse paraphraser which converts it to it's a shame uncle, and then the red model is their inverse paraphraser which learns to get the original sentence back from it. And on test time, they have this example, oh, will thou leave me so unsatisfied, which is changed to, oh, you're gonna leave me unsatisfied, right? And then if you pass it through the Twitter inverse paraphrases, you get, oh, y'all will leave me unhappy, lol. So this basically shows that they're using the diverse paraphraser to get a representation which in theory, it should be devoid of any stylistic attributes, but we all know it's not possible. But it tries to remove stylistic attributes and is fairly successful. And then it's passed through an inverse paraphraser trained on another corpus, which helps, which sort of takes this output of the diverse paraphraser to act as an inverse paraphraser and gives the style transferred output. All right, so our approach requires none of the finicky modeling paradigms popular in style transfer research, no reinforcement learning, variational inference, or autoregressive sampling during training. Instead, we implement the first two stages of our pipeline by simply fine tuning a pre trained GPT-2 language model. Despite its simplicity, Strap significantly outperforms the state of the art in formalities transfer and style author imitation datasets by 2 to 3 times on automatic evaluation and 4 to 5 times on human evaluation. We further show that only 3 out of 23 prior style transfer papers properly evaluate their models. In fact, a naive baseline that randomly chooses to either copy its input or retrieve a random sentence written in the target style outperforms prior work on poorly designed metrics. So, this is a huge concern because then, even without doing style transfer, you're beating style transfer. Finally, we take a step towards real-world style transfer by collecting a large dataset (CDS) corpus of diverse styles of 15 million English sentences spanning 11 diverse styles, including the works of James Joyce, romantic poetry, tweets, and conversational speeches. CDS is orders of magnitude larger and more complex than prior benchmarks, which generally focus on transferring between just two styles. We analyze Strap's ability on CDS and will release it as a benchmark for future research. In summary, our contributions are: first, a simple approach to perform lexically and syntactically diverse paraphrasing with pre trained language models. Second, a simple unsupervised style transfer method that models semantic preservation with our paraphraser and significantly outperforms prior work. Third, a critique of existing style transfer evaluation based on a naive baseline that performs on par with prior work on poorly designed metrics. And fourth, a new benchmarks dataset that contains 50 million sentences from 11 diverse styles. So far, this is pretty self-explanatory to me, especially since I've watched this video, and I'd highly recommend you watch this as well. Also, I really love when authors have such videos there. I guess this is because this was during the pandemic era. The pandemic is still ongoing, but this I guess this is towards the peak time when everything was sort of shut down, so everything was happening virtually. Much I guess now some conferences are uh, in person as well. So let's have a look at the different sections now. So style transfer via paraphrasing. We loosely define style as common patterns or lexical choices and syntactic constructions that are distinct from the content of a sentence following prior work. While we acknowledge this distinction is not universally accepted, its treatment is critical to unlock several real world applications of style transfer. Unfortunately, many modern style transfer systems do not respect this definition. A human evaluation shows that fewer than 25% of style transfer sentences from two of state of the art systems on formality transfer were rated as paraphrases of their input. Motivated by this result, we reformulate style transfer as a controlled paraphrase generation task. We call our method STRAP, or style transfer via paraphrasing. STRAP operates with an unsupervised setting. We have raw text from distinct target styles, but no access to parallel sentences paraphrased into different styles. To get around this lack of data, we create pseudo parallel sentences using a paraphrase model trained to maximize output diversity. Intuitively, this paraphrasing step normalizes the input sentence by stripping away information that is predictive of its original style. The normalization effect allows us to train an inverse paraphrase model specific to the style, which attempts to generate the original sentence given its normalized version. Through this process, the model learns to identify and produce salient features of the original style without unduly warping the input semantics. So if you have a look at this plot, you can clearly see. So this plot is it's discussed in the video as well. So that's why I'm familiar with the plot already. So this part is the original sentences in the different data sets. So you can see these are the colors, and you can see they have clearly formed clusters. So this is a TSNE plot of the validation sentences from the CDS dataset. They've used a Roberta style classifier on them to get these vector representations. Uh, so basically, they've clustered the vectors from the Roberta style classifier, and when you pass through when you pass it through a paraphraser, then you can see that it's very difficult to now form clusters exactly. Everything is intermixed, and this is no longer forming clear cut clusters like the original sentences were. All right. So creating pseudo parallel training data. The first stage of our approach involves normalizing input sentences by feeding them through a diverse paraphrase model. Consider a corpus of sentences from multiple styles, where the set of all sentences from style I is denoted by xi. We first generate a paraphrase z for every sentence x belonging to xi using a pre-trained paraphrase model fpara. This makes sense. So z is just a paraphrase of the input. This process results in a dataset Zi of normalized sentences that allow us to form a pseudo-parallel corpus XI between each original sentence and its paraphrase version. Figure 2 shows that this paraphrasing process is a powerful style normalization effect for our instantiation of fpara. So figure 2 is just this figure which I just described. Now pseudo transfer via inverse paraphrasing. Style transfer, sorry, via inverse paraphrasing. We use the pseudo parallel corpus to train a style specific model that attempts to reconstruct the original sentence X given its paraphrase Z. Since fpara removes style identifiers from its inputs, the intuition behind this inverse paraphrase model is that it learns to insert stylistic features through the reconstruction process. Formally, the inverse paraphrase model Fi inverse for style I learns to reconstruct the original corpus Xi using the standard language modeling objective with cross entropy loss. So X bar here is just using the inverse paraphraser on the paraphrase sentence to get back the original sentence, and then they use the cross entropy loss to measure the distance between these two sentences. So how far off was the model, and to guide the model during training. During inference, given an arbitrary sentence S in any style, we convert it to a sentence S bar J in target style J using a two-step process of style normalization with fpara followed by stylization with the inverse paraphraser F inverse J. So J is the inverse paraphraser of style J, which is the target style, and fpara is just the paraphraser. So you can see that it's first being stripped of its stylistic attributes, and then it's being passed to the style to the inverse paraphraser trained on some other corpus to transfer to that style. All right. So paraphraser implementation with GPT-2. We fine-tuned a large-scale pre-trained GPT-2 large language model to implement both the paraphraser and inverse paraphraser for each style. Starting from a pre-trained language model improves both output fluency and generalization to small style-specific datasets. So we use the encoder-free sequence-to-sequence modeling approach described in Wolf et al., where input and output sentences are concatenated together with a separator token. We use Hugging Face's transformer library to implement our models. Alright, so this process, what is for here? For okay, so this passing through an inverse paraphraser. This process resembles denoising autoencoders. Fpara acts as a semantic preserving noise function. F inverse I reconstructs the input. Yeah, you could I guess this all makes sense. And for 5 we fine tune a separate GPT-2 model per style, showing that this outperforms a single inverse paraphraser. All right, so they're training the paraphrasers specific to the style. Promoting diversity by filtering data. The final piece to our approach is how we choose training data for the paraphrase model. So, FPARA. We discovered that maximizing lexical and syntactic diversity of the input paraphrases is crucial for effective style normalization. We promote output diversity by training FPARA on an aggressively filtered subset of para NMT 50M, a large corpus of back translated text. Specifically, we apply three filters. First, remove sentence pairs with more than 50% trigram or unigram overlap to maximize lexical diversity and discourage copying. Removing pairs with lower than 50% reordering of shared words measured by Kendall Stowe to promote syntactic diversity, and removing pairs with low semantic similarity measured by the SIM model from Whiting et al. 2019. After applying these filters, our training data shrinks from 50 million to 75,000 sentence pairs. So this is why they said this is aggressively filtered. This is an aggressively filtered subset of para and MT 50 million, which are used to fine tune GPT-2. So we can see the appendix for more details on the filtering process. 6. This model achieves strong performance in semantic text similarity. We remove all pairs with a lower score than zero point 0.7. Alright. So this is how they filtered for text similar for semantic similarity. Evaluating style transfer. So, providing a meaningful comparison of our approach to existing style transfer systems is difficult because of one, poorly defined automatic and human methods for measuring style transfer quality, and two, misleading or absent methods of aggregating three individual metrics into a single number. In this section, we describe the flaws in existing metrics and their aggregation, and we propose a new evaluation methodology to fix these issues. So, current state of the art transfer evaluation. We conduct a survey of 23 previously published style transfer papers, which reveal three common properties of which style transfer systems are on which style transfer systems are evaluated. Here we discuss how prior works implemented these evaluations for each of these properties and propose improved implementations to address some of their downsides. So we have the transfer accuracy ACC. So given an output sentence S bar J and a target style J, a common way of measuring transfer success is to train a classifier to identify the style of the transferred sentence and report its accuracy ACC on generated sentences. 14 of the 24 surveyed papers implement the style classifier with a one layer CNN. However, recent large transformers like BERT significantly outperform CNNs on most NLP tasks, including style classification. Thus, we build our style classifier by fine tuning Roberta Large on all our datasets, leading to significantly more reliable ACC evaluation. So, the Roberta style classifier built with FAIRSEC achieves a test accuracy of 90.4% on the Shakespeare dataset, so versus 83.5% for CNN, and 94.8% on the formality data versus 92.4% on the CNN. Next, we have the semantic similarity, SIM. A style transfer system can achieve high ACC scores without maintaining the semantics of the input sentence, which motivates also measuring how much a transferred sentence deviates in meaning from the input. So 15 out of the 23 surveyed papers use n-gram metrics like BLEU against reference sentences along with self-BLEU with the input to evaluate semantic similarity. Using BLEU in this way has many problems, including unreliable correlations between n-gram overlap and human evaluation of semantic similarity. Second, discouraging output diversity. And third, not upweighting important semantic words over other words. These issues motivate us to measure semantic similarity using the subword embedding based SIM model of Whiting et al. 2019, which perform well on semantic textual similarity benchmarks in SemEval workshops. So we can have a look at the appendix for this. So they've just explained why they're using this semantic similarity over directly using n-gram metrics like BLEU. Now the fluency. A system that produces ungrammatical outputs can still achieve high scores on both ACC and SIM. accuracy and similarity, semantic similarity. So, motivating a separate measure for fluency, only 10 out of the 23 surveyed papers did a fluency evaluation, 9 of which used language model perplexity, which is a poor measure because first it is unbounded, and second, unnatural sentences with common words tend to have low perplexity. To tackle this, we replace perplexity with the accuracy of a Roberta large classifier trained on the Cola corpus, which contains sentences paired with grammatical acceptability judgments. We show that our classifier marks most references sentences as fluent, confirming its validity. So this is in table 9. Mir et al. Also recommended a similar method to evaluate fluency instead of perplexity, where they train classifiers to distinguish between human and machine sentences. So now we have the finally we have the human evaluation. As automatic evaluations are insufficient for evaluating text generation, 17 out of 23 surveyed style transfer papers also conduct human evaluation. In our work, we evaluate SIM and FL, so semantic similarity and fluency, using human evaluations. As we treat style transfer as a paraphrase generation task, we borrow the 3 point scale used previously to evaluate paraphrases, which jointly captures SIM and FL. Given the original sentence and the transferred sentence, annotators on Amazon Mechanical Turk can choose any of the three options. So 0 for no paraphrase relationship, 1 for an ungrammatical paraphrase, and 2 for a grammatical paraphrase. A total of 150 sentence pairs were annotated per model with 3 annotators per pair. More details on a setup payment and agreement are provided in Appendix 10, A10. Alright. So aggregation of metrics. So far we have focused on individual implementations of accuracy, semantic similarity and fluency. After computing these metrics, it is useful to aggregate them into a single number to compare the overall style transfer quality across systems. However, only 5 out of the 23 aggregated papers aggregated these metrics either at the corpus level or sentence level. Even worse, the corpus level aggregation scheme can be easily gamed. Here we describe a naive system that outperforms state of the art style transfer systems when evaluated using corpus level aggregations, and we present a new sentence level aggregation metric that fixes the issue. So the issue with corpus level aggregation, aggregating ACC, SIM and FL is inherently difficult because they are inversely correlated with each other. Prior work has combined these three scores into a single number using geometric averaging or learned weights. However, the aggregation is computed after averaging each metric independently across the test set, which is a corpus level aggregation because you essentially average over the corpus, but it's problematic since systems might generate sentences that optimize only a subset of metrics. For example, a Shakespeare style transfer system could output wherefore art thou Romeo regardless of its input and score high on accuracy and and fluency, while a model that always copies its input would score well on semantic similarity and fluency. So, a naive style transfer system, to concretely illustrate the problem, we design a naive baseline that exactly copies its input with probability p and chooses a random sentence from the target style with the remaining uh, for the remaining inputs where p is tuned on a validation set. When evaluated using geometric mean corpus level aggregation, this system outperforms state-of-the-art model UNMT DSLM on the formality dataset despite not doing any style transfer at all. So the proposed metrics. A good style transfer system should jointly optimize all metrics. A strong performance of the naive baselines with corpus level aggregation indicates that metrics should be combined at the sentence level before averaging them across the test set. Unfortunately, only 3 of the 23 surveyed papers measure absolute performance after sentence level aggregation, and all of them use the setup of Lee et al., which is specific to human evaluation with Likert scales. We propose a more general alternative where X is a sentence, so you have a product of the accuracy, semantic similarity, and fluency, and then you just sum over all of them and then divided by the size of the corpus. We treat ACC and FL at sentence level as binary judgments, ensuring incorrectly classified or disfluent sentences are automatically assigned a score of 0. As a sanity check, our naive system performs extremely poorly on this new metric, as copying inputs will almost always yield an accuracy of 0, so this product would be 0. So experiments in result. We evaluate our methods trap on two existing style transfer datasets using the evaluation methodology proposed in section 3. Our system significantly outperforms state-of-the-art systems, methods, and the naive baseline discussed. So the dataset. We focus exclusively on semantics preserving style transfer tasks, which means that we do not evaluate on attribute transfer datasets such as sentiment, gender, and political transfer. Specifically, we use two standard benchmark datasets for Shakespeare author imitation and formality transfer to compare strap against prior work. While both datasets contain parallel data, we only use it to automatically evaluate our models. For training, we follow prior work by using the non-parallel train validation test splits. The Shakespeare author imitation dataset contains 37,000 training sentences from two plays, William Shakespeare's original plays and their modernized versions. Shakespeare's plays are written in early modern English, which has a significantly different lexical, so thou instead of you, and syntactic distribution compared to modern English. Our second dataset is formality transfer, which is from Rao and Treol 2018, Tetrol 2018, which contains 105,000 sentences, also from two styles. Sentences are written either in formal or informal modern English. Unlike formal sentences, informal sentences tend to have more misspellings, short forms, so like you, just the letter U instead of the word you, and non standard usage of punctuation. Comparison against prior works. We compare Strap on the Shakespeare formality dataset against the following baseline. So, copy is basically a lower bound that simply copies the input. Naive is our method, which from the previous method that randomly either copies or retrieves a sentence. Ref, which is an upper bound computed by evaluating reference sentences using our metrics. UNMT, unsupervised neural machine translation from Subramaniam et al. DLSM, the deep latent sequence model from he et al. 2020, which is currently state of the art on both datasets. Strap significantly outperforms the state-of-the-art DLSM on automatic metrics. So table 1 with a J score of 45.5 versus 18.6. So you can see that Strap is just wrecking havoc here. So with the different p values, just on accuracy, you can see UNMT outperforms it, but uh, in everything else, Strap is the best. The improvements are even large when SIM and FL are measured through human evaluation, which is done in table 2. In this setting, Strap achieves 41.3 versus 10 on formality and 47.3 versus 9.3 on Shakespeare. Across the board, Strap significantly improves in SIM and FL while maintaining similar accuracy. Finally, the large gap between ref and strap on automatic metrics provides existing avenues for future research. So they've made the implementation of both UNMT, use the public implementation, verify the UNMT model performs on par with reported sentiment transfer numbers. The original code has not yet been open source by Subramanian et al. So they're using the UNMT from the he et al. Results with other metrics such as blue as well as comparison against several other baselines are there in outperform appendix, and they've outperformed them as well. So you can see in table 2 you have the comparison with human evaluation, and even on this they are outperforming. Now the ablation studies. In this section we perform several ablation strap to understand which of its components contribute most of the improvement over baseline. Overall, these ablations validate the importance of both paraphrasing and pre-training for style transfer. So paraphrase diversity improves ACC. How critical is diversity in the paraphrase generation? While our implementation of FPARA is trained on data that is heavily filtered to promote diversity, we also build a non-diverse paraphrase model by removing the diversity filtering of para NMT 50 million but keeping all the experimental settings identical. In Table 3, the minus div pp rows show a drop in accuracy across both datasets as well as higher semantic similarity, which in both cases results in a lower J score. A qualitative inspection reveals that the decreased accuracy and increased semantic similarity are both due to greater degree of input copying, which motivates the importance of diversity. This is there in Table 3. So if you remove the, this is the div pp, and you can see the accuracy has fallen sharply, and the semantic similarity has increased, the fluency has lowered, the net J score has lowered. uh, so what basically is happening is that when you like remove uh, sorry, I just I'll just explain this. So when the paraphrases are very similar and are not diverse, you are essentially just copying, or are more tending towards naive copying, and that is why the semantic similarity increases, because it is more similar to the inputs, but the accuracy decreases. So paraphrase during inference improves ACC. The diverse paraphraser fpara is obviously crucial to train our model, as it creates pseudo parallel data for training. But is it necessary during inference? We directly try feeding in the original sentence to the inverse paraphrase model during inference, and which while the semantic similarity and fluency are largely unaffected, there is a large drop in accuracy. This supports the hypothesis. So basically, trying to make it a one-step process, but that removes a lot of gain given by the diverse paraphraser. LM pre-training is crucial. So as we mainly observe improvements on FL and SIM compared to prior work, a natural question is how well does TRAP perform without large-scale language model pre-training? We run an ablation study by replacing the GPT-2 implementations with LSTM sequence-to-sequence models which are trained with global attention using OpenNMT with mostly default hyperparameters. As seen in the minus GPT-2 row, this model performs competitively with UNMT DLSM on J, which obtained 2018.6 on formality respectively. However, it is significantly worse than Strap, with large drops of semantic similarity and fluency. This result shows that the merit of both our algorithm and the boost that language model pre-training provides. Nucleus sampling trade-off accuracy for semantic similarity. While our best performing system uses a greedy decoding strategy, we experiment with nucleus sampling by varying the nucleus p-value. As expected, higher p improves diversity and trades off increase ACC for lowered semantic similarity. We find that p equals zero point 0.6 is similar to greedy decoding, but higher p values degrade performance. Multiple inverse paraphrases perform better than a single style condition model. Finally, we compare a more parameter efficient alternative to training a separate inverse paraphrase model per style. Prior work in conditioned language models feed style specific tokens as input. We adopt a strategy by feeding in the average Roberta vectors as style indicators. We present this in the minus multi. This strategy is not as effective as training a different paraphrase model per style. This is primarily due to an increase drop in ACC. We hypothesize this is due to conflict between different styles distribution in a real world. So, classifier confusion after style transfer. Every row shows the classifier label distribution and sentence transfer to the target style. The off diagonal elements show misclassifications. So how many times it was misclassified, and with intuitive domain names. Towards real world style transfer, all of our experiments are ablations, and ablations thus far have been on Shakespeare and formality to datasets which contain just two styles to explore the ability of a diverse system on and multiple styles. They create the corpus of diverse styles, which has 11 styles and 15 million tokens. So corpus is created from existing academic research. They obtain data from existing academic research and public APIs or online collections like Project Gutenberg. We choose styles that are easy for human reader to identify at the sentence level, like tweets or biblical text. And the left side confirms that machines also cluster CDS into 11 distinct styles. While prior works involve a transfer between two styles, CDS has 110 potential style transfer directions. So basically, 11 choose 2, which is 11 into 10. 11 choose 2 into 2 because it could be either ways. And then these are the different trained models. And all of these examples are actually, they mention that all these are actual outputs of the model. These are not like training samples or anything of that sort. And we present dataset examples, details on collection and style similarity analysis in Appendix A6. Diverse paraphrasing normalizes style text. So I guess we're yeah, almost at the end. With 11 styles, we can see better. We can better validate the effectiveness of our diverse paraphraser at normalizing input sentences. After training an 11 style classifier on CDS using Roberta Large, we observe an accuracy of 88.9% on the original validation set. After paraphrasing the validation set with fpara, this classifier only correctly classifies 42.5% sentences, indicating a significant decrease in recognizable stylistic features. Figure 2 further demonstrates this normalization effect, which was there in the graph, basically clusters being deformed. Finally, the magnitude of the normalization is lower with a non-diverse paraphraser, with a smaller accuracy drop to 51.5% after paraphrasing. Qualitatively, the diverse model exhibits more lexical swap and syntactic diversity. So style transfer on this dataset, we measure Strap's performance. We sample 1000 sentences from each style and use Strap to transfer these sentences to each of the other 10 styles. Despite having to deal with many more styles than before, our system achieves 48.4% transfer accuracy, a paraphrase similarity score of 63.5 and 71.1% fluent generations, yielding a J score of 20.7. A breakdown of style transfer performances provided in Appendix A8. An error analysis shows that this classifier misclassifies some generations as style sharing properties with the target style. So this is in figure 3. Okay, so like these are the misclassifications. Where were we? I think we've skipped a page. Yeah, you're here. The classifier misclassifies some generation style sharing properties with the targets. Alright. So controlled comparison to ground our CDS results in prior work. We compare strap with baselines. We sample each number on training sentences from them. As seen in table 6, strap greatly outperforms prior work, especially on semantic similarity and fluency. Qualitative inspection shows that baseline models often output arbitrary style specific features, completely ignoring input semantics. So, which gives poor semantic similarity but high accuracy because they've just randomly placed the style features, not randomly, but they've just pushed in the style features with target text. So, the qualitative examples. Table 4 contains several examples, Appendix A11 for more. You could check that out. We also add more qualitative analysis in Table 7. Our model makes mistakes similar to contemporary text generation system, poor understanding of rare words, dropping modification of semantic content, hallucination to better reflect training distribution. Alright, so you have these examples. So, for instance, Shack to Bible 1990 to tweet, Sweet to Shack, Sweet to Sweat. So all of these are uh, from this only. So Sweat is I get switchboard. Shack I'm not sure, but I guess it's Shakespeare. Yeah, it's Shakespeare because you can judge by the words. Alright, so I guess, yeah, this part is finished. Now the related works. Unsupervised style transfer is often modeled by disentangling style and content using attribute classifier. a policy gradient training, or retrieval based approach. Recently, a back translation has emerged as a method to model semantic preservation, but this method can also warp semantics as seen in Subramaniam et al. As such, we can only use it to build a paraphraser's training data after heavy filtering. Our work relates to recent efforts that use transformer and style transfer. Closely related to our work is Grondal and Asokan 2019, who overgenerate paraphrases using a complex handcrafted pipeline and filter them using proximity to a target style corpus. Instead, we automatically learn style specific paraphrases and do not need overgeneration at inference. Relatedly, Priotiuk and Priotiuk Pietro et al. 2016 present qualitative style transfer results with statistical empty paraphrases. Other less closely related works on control and diversity is discussed in Appendix 12. We in this work we model style transfer as a controlled paraphrase generation task and present a simple unsupervised style transfer method using different diverse paraphrasing. We critique current style transfer model evaluation using a survey of 23 papers and propose fixes to common shortcoming. Finally, we collect this huge dataset from 11 different styles. Possible future works are exploring other application of diverse paraphrasing such as data augmentation, performing style transfer at a paragraph level, performing style transfer for styles completely unseen using free a few exemplars. So they'd also like to thank all of these peoples and which have they've helped them out. So this was overall a great read. The paper is very good. This website and everything is pretty good. The appendix, I'm not going to go over it in the video. I'll probably have a look at it later. But the appendix is also huge with lots of examples. Overall, a great read, and I'd suggest anyone who wants to read this paper to just give it a go. And thank you guys for tuning in. Hope to see you the next time. Like, share, and subscribe if you like such content. And if you have any suggestions, just let me know down below in the comment section.